Former President Jacob Zuma wants to appeal his 15-month imprisonment for contempt of court at the African Court on Human and People's Rights. On Friday, the Constitutional Court dismissed his application to rescind its earlier judgment. Now, Zuma is currently on medical parole. But to talk more about the appeal, of course, to the African Court on Human and People's Rights, we're now joined by Africa analyst, Advocate Sipho Mantula. Advocate, thank you for your time and a warm good morning to you. Let's first reflect on what the Jacob Zuma Foundation called this dismissal by the Court, of course, of Zuma's rescission here. They called it a miscarriage of justice. This is the perspective that we are hearing from the Jacob Zuma Foundation. Your view on this statement?
Refreshing morning to Mel and to the viewers. I think this is a very contentious litigation that has been taking on since June 29 until now. And if you look at both judgments that came even on Friday, even from the opposite side of the bench, they are raising critical language of saying that President Zuma was a judicial dictator. And you will understand that they were raising the issue of abuse of the judicial process. But if one looks at the opportunity and this window of looking at the African Court on Human and People's Rights, it is critical that most of our judgments in this country have not been capturing mostly what we call African human rights law as well as international human rights law. Hence, you can look at the minority judgment that both JAFTA and Tehran are pushing the Zuma camp to say, but you still can go to another forum to plead on these matters of a violation of your rights under both Article 7 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and Article 14 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. So, Tumelo, in short, you might see that this trial has both political and legal complexity.
Yeah. In terms of the African Court on Human and People's Rights, what are the chances of the former president finding relief there?
Tumelo, if I was a prophet or a sangoma of law, I would have said to you, chances are that since 2013, there was a matter which was brought for the son of Gaddafi, Saif Gaddafi, who was tried via video link, and he went on to pursue Article 7 of the African Charter, and that court found in his favor. Again, in 2015, there was a case in Tanzania where an ordinary citizen was jailed for 30 years on issues of robbery. He went on to say that he was hospitalized, he was never given the right to a fair trial. He was able to win his case. But I'll take you back. 21 years ago, there was a case on International Rwanda Tribunal where the issues of absence on the trial, one can say, will not prevent the courts or human rights institution to can still pursue this matter. So when one looks at these chances, one looks at the time again, tomorrow, the time frame for you to file in that court, it will take us 90 days. And by then, his medical parole will have already passed on. And if you look at another chances of this case, it is that the country that it has been pursued by President Zuma, South Africa, must consent to this matter. And you will understand, we might use even Article 5 of the Charter, where President Zuma can use what we call personal jurisdiction. We can bring this matter to say that his rights have been violated. But like I have said, this court, fairly new, it's almost 22 years old, and we have one of our own advocate, Dumisa Ntsebeza, who is one of the judges in that court. So if broadly one is to understand the matrix of the court, Tumelo, it is that every case, it is treated on its own merits, despite I have raised those three cases prior.
Right. I mean, the Jacob Zuma Foundation, Advocate, has been criticized for this statement, this particular route, including the former president's legal representatives going the African court route. Is this the best route for the former president to take, for him to receive the justice that he believes he deserves?
Tumelo, you know, in law we say that there is no end to litigation. Sometimes you can explore all avenues, even if your national courts might have ruled against you. Hence, I've said to you earlier, the role of our courts as well is to adopt, interpret even African human rights law, because we live in Africa, and even when people are being given chances, it is how that court does not being abused. One cannot push that court to be abused, but litigants, applicants, people who feel that they've been failed by their own national laws have the right to go to that court. And remember, South Africa, it is a party to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. As we are talking now, this court, it is sitting in Arusha, Tanzania, for the whole month. And like I will say to you, this matter might not be treated as urgent, but it is critical that sometimes we explore and test what we call jurisprudence of laws of member states vis-a-vis what is the African broader concept of human rights. Because here we are talking of the issue of the right to the fair trial, the issues even if there were delays coming from President Zuma, but again the issue of dignity, the human dignity of a person who has been arrested, who has been sentenced without going to the courts. Because remember, the Zondo Commission matter, it has brought a lot of contention that has caused even political crisis in the country. Hence, we had an insurrection or not insurrection around July.